And you taught us a lot. Alhamdulillah. What is the most important goal you have achieved this year? Like it could be a career move, a family related accomplishment, or personal accomplishment.
Like Halima, I too am a government contractor. So I've been working in my field for 20 years, and I've been at my current place of employment for about 6 years as a contractor. So I am currently in the process of onboarding as an actual GS, as an actual federal government employee, which I am thrilled about because the most important part is I get pension. I get a pension. You know how
Listen.
important. If I were 20, I mean, it wouldn't matter to me. I would keep making, but I mean, and you all understand you make more as a contractor. Yeah. This is a big deal at this big age.
I was gonna say it's one of those things when you hit those 40s, this is it.
Yeah, this is important. This is really important. So I haven't completed the onboarding process. Make dua that I get through it, that we negotiate me a decent salary. I mean, and everything works out the way Allah intends. I'm happy. I'm excited about that part because it just kind of takes a weight off. Because you often think about, especially as we get older, um, how is it going to work financially, right? And having a pension definitely gives me a bit of security. It gives me an idea of what I can do much later.
Well, I have two that tie. But okay, I'll just choose one. So one of my children has had a passion since they were toddlers, and as a parent, I try my best to nurture that passion in
Mhm.
every way possible. The various programs, summer camps, seminars, mentors, different programs in school, books, video, everything. But there was one thing that they needed that cost a lot of money. And as they grew up, I was able to find a way for them to sort of borrow this thing, and still have the experience to learn and grow and work with this thing without me having to pay for it. We worked extra jobs. My child worked. We did all these other things just to afford this thing and for my child to have these experiences. And this summer, I finally saved up enough and could afford it. Even though my child is now an adult, I finally could afford this thing, and I finally gifted this thing, and my child's eyes just lit up, and I just felt like, I finally, I finally made
Mashallah.
it. Finally made it happen. And alhamdulillah, it wasn't too little, it wasn't too late. And my child knew and understood how long I had to save up for it and how hard I had to work to make it happen. And they really, really appreciated it. So alhamdulillah.
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 Good
Excellent.
job, Mom.
Alhamdulillah. Yes. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Mashallah. And for me, my biggest accomplishment has been to finally be able to rebrand Healthier Picks into Aafiyah Soul. So making that transition has been such an experience this year. And trying to be consistent in the things I do. So stay tuned, I guess, is what I have to say about that as well for myself. Stay
Nice.
tuned, inshallah. Who is it or who are the people you've had the most valuable relationships with this year? Or who is someone you got to know better this year?
It's just me and my teenager at home and in the house. And that really shifts and has changed the dynamic of the household. We don't even have any pets anymore. So it's just us. And as um, as he grows, he shares a lot more with me, and I'm with the ability to understand him more, it makes me more of a stronger advocate for him, and he needs that, he appreciates that. And whereas a lot of teenagers, when they get to a certain point, they push back and they have their stronger connections with their peers. I mean, he's still developing and building those, but he for sure knows um, that I'm his cheerleader. So I would say for sure we've gotten a lot closer this past year.
I have this, so I have a coworker, a very dear coworker, and she's been, she was a really core to me when I went through some professional experiences. And she and I have become like so close. You know, uh, she is such a great support, like a big sister. So she's someone that is really important to me, and we've really built a really good relationship.
You know, I was sitting here trying to think of something, and I immediately thought of you all, like the sisters that I met at the retreat, and that would have been a given. Like if I'm being honest, I would have to say I made no effort to meet or be in front of or deal with people outside of the ones I just had to. So yes, so I honestly have not curated any new relationships. I don't think I necessarily made a lot of efforts to pay attention to the existing ones. It's only when moments happen and then you realize the importance of people. But I really kind of functioned through this year in a fog. It just kind of went by, and I remember bits and pieces. I remember experiences where I was present in body, but my mind is somewhere else. And yeah, even, I went this year, my husband and I went on a beautiful vacation to Colombia. And though we were there, it was beautiful and it was nice. That my dad was still ill, and a lot of that time was spent with my head somewhere else. Uh, the retreat somewhere else. Like I don't know if I have a real, true, and meaningful answer to that question.
Wow. So if I can chime in on this for you, Jamila, it's almost like you were on pause, waiting to see what would happen with your dad, because that's what I got from you a lot of times throughout the years I was, as we interacted. And as he got sicker, you would just really holding on. But alhamdulillah, I'm glad you managed to still interact with folks, because you still came out to the things that you were invited to. You still, met up with us or did certain things with us. You certainly came to the retreat, and you were present there. But now I understand your mind was somewhere else at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I would have to say the new relationships I formed back to the Aafiyah Project's Sisters Wellness Retreat. Those sisters, I formed new relationships with the sisters there. Definitely want to share that those were relationships, the relationships from people who attended the retreat. It's something I really covet. Now I'm looking forward to the next retreat. Like, I don't know who I'm going to meet, and just be so surprised by their personality once I get to know them. So that was it for me. Just that group as a whole. Ooh, this is an interesting one. What was the best use of your time throughout this year? And what was the single biggest time waster of the year? I'm gonna go first, and I'll answer. The time waster for me is social media.
Oh.
hands
Yeah.
down, social media.
Yeah.
We know a lot of things going on in the world today. I already knew leading up to October, the events of October 7th, I was already doing too much on social media. I would excuse that with, oh, I'm learning how to use it. I'm trying to see what things, funky things people are doing, blah, blah, blah. But it was really a time waster for me. And fast forward the year to October 7th, after the events in Palestine and in Gaza and the people of Palestine and what they're going through, I became so addicted in an unhealthy way to social media, just looking at those things. I had to cut the cord, so to speak, and say, I'm not going to look at these things because it wasn't just wasting my time, but it was also affecting me emotionally. I'd be looking at certain things, certain visuals, and before you know it, I was in tears. It got to the point where whenever there's, you know how they have those warnings on the social media saying like it'll be blurred out and say the image may be disturbing. I had to force myself not to open it. So that was a
Mhm.
win for me, like, okay, for my mental health, you know? So social media was definitely my time waster. The best use of my time, I try to connect with friends and loved ones, even if it's just to check in on someone and hearing back from them just makes me happy. I share the joy that they have, and if it's, if they're going through challenges, we have very quick chats about it. It just makes me feel good that, oh, I know what's going on with so and so person, because we live such busy lives, and we don't always have that, 2 hours to sit down and chat. But if it's a 5-minute chat on the phone, or a quick text to just check in on you. So for me, those were the best use of my time.
So I would have to agree that social media. But yeah, I would say that phone of mine uh is probably the worst, is the waste of my time for sure, which I've become more intentional in leaving it in another room and not taking it with me when I really sit down to dinner. I used to use the excuse, and it was very real, like I'm waiting. I was always just kind of anxious about, even before my parents were sick, in case they called, or if someone needed me and I needed to, because then I hear no one's calling. I looked at my phone last week I realized my phone hadn't ring from Friday to Monday when I looked at my call log for whatever reason. I was looking and I went, wow. So definitely social media and just that cell phone in general being the worst use of my time. But you made reference to me still coming out with how I was feeling, and I think that was the best use of my time. I
Uh-huh.
could have easily, uh, you know, declined the invites, right? But I would have been sitting at home, probably on my phone, but I would have been sitting at home, and that just wouldn't have been healthy for me mentally, right? So I was trying to be a bit intentional, I suppose, with kind of staying around people just so I didn't get so in my head about what was going on. Because if you are feeling any one thing and you stew in it long, like just that sadness, if I stayed in that place, it would have probably been really bad. It would have just probably overcome me and it would have been a lot. So I had moments like the bouquets and bubblies. I had moments where we could do the retreat or jump double dutch, which I don't think I had done in 30 years until that day. But I was trying to make a point to uh be around people and be around my sisters. Um that was very intentional in coming out, even though I was feeling like I was feeling. And I think that was absolutely the best use of my time because I could have stayed in that dark place and not come out of it. So alhamdulillah that you all were there and available, and there was the Aafiyah project and all the other things that we
Mhm.
just kind of did on a whim to stay connected and together. I really needed it. I know that that is what got me through a lot of this year.
So I'm gonna give two. So for me, it's the opposite. Social media has been so helpful for me. I don't know what I would have done without social media
Mhm.
because I mean everybody uses it in different ways, but for me, I had to fully set up a three-bedroom apartment and I was able to use I follow a lot of folks who I love organization. So that's mostly the folks that I follow, interior decorators and folks who redesign or,
Mhm.
revamp homes. And so all I have to do is click on their profile and they have a link and I can just click on these cabinets and this flooring and these, just click, 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 put it in my basket, order it, install it. My mother had a brand new, same thing, her bedroom. She wanted to redo her bedroom. Click, 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 put it in the link, ordered it, shipped it to her condo, brand new bedroom. For my daughter's three-bedroom apartment, click, 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 went to social media. Oh, I like this, I like that, I like this, I like that. And it looks great, it looks great. They like it, and all these people like it, and it looks great, and I like it. Click, click. It was so easy. A week, whole apartment is done. And that includes all the design, wallpaper. I wouldn't have found that wallpaper if I did, wasn't on social media. I would no idea how easy it was, how cost effective it was, how it matched with this paneling, like all this. Anyway, it made it so
You speaking my
easy for
language.
me. So easy for me. I had like pantry full of all these plastic bins and labeled in the bathroom. Like everything was all set up the way that we're comfortable. So alhamdulillah, it made it so much easier. Alhamdulillah. So yeah, that was really helpful. Also, so I have two, not just one. Also, this was the first year that I actually um signed up for and committed to working with a physical trainer, a personal trainer.
Oh, nice.
And that was the really great use of my time, energy, resources.
Mhm.
It was someone that I knew already, so I trusted her, and I knew that she knew my personality and she knew what I was capable of physically, and so she could push me um, in certain ways, and it worked out excellent. It worked out really well. I'm still working with her, and I've met a lot of my physical goals, a lot of my health goals, and
Yeah.
also just to have someone who also cares about my health that's there every day, checking in on me. Um, Alhamdulillah, that that works out really well, really well. Someone who I know I'm going to talk to this person every
Mhm.
week specifically about my health goals. Alhamdulillah, that was really worth it. So my time waster, reality TV, and I'll just leave it at that. I watch
Mashallah.
and it's like I'm sitting there like, why am I looking at this? Why am this is terrible. Why am I it's you it's all those marriage shows and there's a handful of them. It's Married at First Sight, 90 Day
Mhm.
Fiance, like it's just drama,
Mhm.
fitna, and the whole concept of a short courtship and maybe some professionals vetting candidates beforehand seems like it's okay, there's some Islamic correlation, but all the drama, no, it's a complete waste of my time and I need to stop. When this season is done, this is my last season. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you so much for that. I'm glad, when we talk about social media, I'm glad you were able to find benefit in it. And I think
Yeah.
I just need to get back to that part, like how's it serving me?
Yeah,
If
it's
it's not
it's
serving me,
it's
move on to something else.
it's my discipline because I have some quirks with some of the things I look at on social media. I've shared
I
those with you all before, but
Oh God.
but there's also things that lift my spirits. Like there's a guy who will go around various neighborhoods and find a home that's been abandoned or a
Oh
home
yes,
that's
I've
owned by
seen
an
that.
elderly person, and he'll
They cut
do
their
all,
grass.
yeah, cut the grass and trim it up and pull like clean it up.
Mm.
It's amazing. He speeds it up so you're not watching it for hours. But it's like, wow, it's so kind of him. That's really hard work. And so things like that are inspirational. Or there's a guy who's in Thailand and he rescues stray dogs and works with a vet and clinic there, gives them the help that they need, and loves on the animals, you know, feeds them healthy foods every day. And he names them, name one dog Sippy Crawford. And it just, anyway, so sweet stories to
Yeah.
balance out, you know, the
Yeah.
other stuff, you know, because
Yeah.
we all know there's a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
yeah, I do. I try to find those sweet spots.
Um, I love to play games on my phone, but as much as they might be a time waster, I try, like Ramadan, I don't play any games, but you know, after that, I realized that I need to just be. And so as much as like I use them as recuperating, mentally recuperating. So they help me to be, but also help me think like I'm solving a problem, you know, in the game. That's what I like. So as much as you have to, I try to use them, then I try to do Vicar while I'm doing it. Therefore, I'm, you know, maximizing my time.
Listen.
That's a good one.
But I need that time to just like be like after a day of thinking and analyzing, I just want to be. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like a waster, but I try to make it beneficial. You know, the way that I use it, I'm trying to recoup mentally. So this is definitely the thing that I do. And as far as social, I actually finally got on TikTok these last
Oh Lord.
Really?
I have not, you know, I am not a social, I don't like to do any posting, but with this after, you know, September the October 7th, and there I was watching this girl, Megan, so that she got me on. A friend of mine told me about her. She was reading the Quran. So I got TikTok to watch her. And so, you know, I was watching along, and you know, like Halima said, it's how you use it. So all my feed is related to it's either related to the, you know, Palestine or related to Quran. Everything is that's it. And so it uplifted me. I listened to her. I listened to so many people who um came into the dean. I watched them the day that they said, "Oh, I'm taking Shahada today." So that was so encouraging. And it was like so great to see all these posts, people who started reading about Islam and, you know, and found goodness in the deen and became Muslim. So that was, you know, that became beneficial to me. And then also I got on Discord, also related to the Quran and Islam. So, you know, it's how you use it. And definitely the best use of my time is my ongoing classes. I love them. I meet sisters from all over the world. Um, and we're tied together on this 8-year journey of going through the Quran. So, you know, that's one of the things that you know, that's one of my wonderful times because even with everything going on in the world, every time we study an ayah, it's like it's talking to that specific thing that we're going through. And it's like it always leaves me in awe, and it always humbles me, and it always calms me down whatever I'm going through. And I feel so relieved after, you know, having that class. And we all do when we share our reflections and so forth. And that's another thing. It helps me calm down because we have to offer our reflections. It helps me think and really reflect on myself, and also remind myself to be grateful all the time with everything, even the thing that you think is difficult at the moment. But when, you know, when you look at back and you say, Alhamdulillah for that, because it led to this. And so those are the things my classes really, alhamdulillah, I'm so happy I have it in my life because it, like I said, it just, in any situation, it's like there's something in Quran that's reminding me, and it's just, you know, it reminds me to be grateful.
Whew.
Alhamdulillah.
Thanks for
Alhamdulillah.
that, Amira. This is a reminder for me to get back with my class. My Quran class ended at the end of the summer, and I never went back. So, whew,